I like the fish. Do you like the fish? Let's go fishing. And not just do I like to catch fish, but I like to cook fish and I like to eat the fish after I cook them. Matter of fact, I like to eat the fish more than anything else. But if you watched any of the Sands on the Surf videos, you know we've done a couple of recipes over the last year. Well, I looked at them and went back and looked at them and I was like, there's actually some really good recipes here. So I thought I would put together a compilation of the top 10 fish recipes that we did over this year, so you could watch the videos and you can pick up some new recipes, and all of them are really good except for the fish chip one, number 9. Don't watch that one. But if you stick around to number 10, the black drum almondine is unbelievable, like restaurant quality. So if you don't watch any others, just fast forward to the end. I'm going to save the best for last. Okay, let's go cooking. With it. But then I found this website. It's called Yummly, YUMMY.com, yummly.com, and it's so cool because you can put in a type of fish and then it'll come up with hundreds of recipes. And I'm like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen, because I only know like 2 recipes. I either fry the fill 3. I either fry it, I put it on the grill, or I make fish tacos. But this had this really cool Croaker recipe. Like, I typed in Croaker and it came up with it, and you can just read the instructions. So I'm like, I'm going to make this Croaker soup. This looks fantastic. So I decided to do it, and I'm going to show you right here the Croaker soup recipe because it's so unbelievably good. Simple ingredients: garlic, some chives, green onions. This is, I didn't have any bread, so I was using English muffins, and some diced tomato, and of course some salt, pepper, and one other secret ingredient, and olive oil, and of course the fish. So what you do is pretty simple. You cut up the fish. Now I got this new knife, which is from Toadfish, and I really like this knife because, number one, it's super sharp because it's brand new. It's nice and thin. It cuts great, but it's got a great weight. It's like heavy. It's not a cheap, like, little stinky fillet knife. It's a really quality knife, great weight, and it cut the fish really great. So what I did with this fish is I took out the, I guess the red bones, if you would, a couple of the bones here in the ribs. I filleted it, obviously, and I skinned it as well, and then I just cut it up into like chunks, little chunks, like fish bites, if you will, and that's going to be going into my soup. Now, while I did that, I cut that up. I got another knife, and I minced the garlic. So I got a couple cloves of garlic here, and I'm just doing a great job. It doesn't even look like I'm cutting it. Am I getting through to it? But I did. I was getting through. And then I just take the knife and I just do the old, I've watched a couple of Rachel Ray videos, I guess, and kind of just like chunk, and get in there and just mince it up really good. Right there, chunk. That's like the funnest part right there. So I minced the garlic, and then I cut the green onion as well, scallions, whatever you want to call them, and I just cut them into little pieces. Now, after I got that all cut, everything's ready to go, I got a frying pan, and I just put water in it, and I put it on the stove, and I just got the water to boil, and once the water was boiling, I just poured my little fish flake chunks into the boiling water. I'm just going to cook it up like that, totally cook it up in the boiling water, which for me is very unique. I hadn't done that before, but here's the secret magic ingredients. The blackened redfish, oh my gosh, this is so good. I think this is what made the whole meal. You definitely need to get that if you don't have it. Get that magic redfish. Oh my gosh, so good. So I let that boil, and then I took it out, and then using the same frying pan, I put some olive oil in there, and I just put the garlic cloves in there. There's the olive oil. And I put the green onion in there, and I just sauteed that up. And once those were fragrant, just a minute or two, I put in my can of tomatoes. Now, I just didn't have any fresh tomatoes. That's why I used this. But I think this would be even better with some fresh tomatoes. And I just let that all simmer together and just kind of, get marinated or whatever you call it. I don't know. I'm not Rachel Ray, but I was going to tell you it was so good. So I put my English muffins, which I toasted, by the way. I put them in the bottom there. And I just poured this soup mixture on top. Now, I have the fish sitting in a separate bowl at this point. I had taken it out of the frying pan. So I just went and I got it, and I just sprinkled it on top of that right there like that. I'm going to tell you, my wife was like, oh my God, this is so good. This is restaurant quality. She's like, if I got this in a restaurant, I would not be disappointed. So I'm going to tell you to make this soup. Check out Yummly. They're not my sponsor, but I'm just telling you, it's fun to try different recipes, and Yummly's a great way to do it. Up. Here's what I'm going to make. Basically, I'm going to do a vegetable fried rice dish underneath and then the fish on top. So I've got some beans here, I've got some carrots, I got some peppers, I got some peanuts that I'm going to put on top later, kind of crush them up a little bit. I have some scallions, and I've got some ginger and a little bit of chopped garlic. So we're all ready to go. Here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to fillet the fish. My son got me an electric fillet knife for Father's Day, the electric fisherman. So I'm like, might be overkill for a Pompano, but I'm going to give it a go. It's the first time using it. It's got a little locking mechanism on, which is kind of fun. And it worked really, really well, even a little too well. I kind of had to take my time and try to slow myself down just to make sure I was going to cut the fish down to the bone without going all the way. I felt like I could have just gone right through this. This worked really well, even with a small pompano, but imagine having a shark or a big red drum with those huge scales. This would come in really handy. So I'm really happy with it. The only thing I would say is that I probably need to get an extension cord. The cord was a little short. I was kind of stretching it there across the back, but I could easily resolve that issue just by adding an extension cord to it. So no problem there. I've got the fish cut up. I'm going to get rid of the bones here and then just going to put it on some aluminum foil with some olive oil, that chopped garlic, some salt and some pepper. And I'm just going to throw this in the air fryer, really, when I'm ready to go. I mean, I could throw it on the grill, but I'm just going to throw it in the air fryer. Meanwhile, I'm taking my beans, my peppers, throwing them in with some olive oil, getting them sauteed and browned, throwing in the carrots, throwing in the scallions, throwing in the ginger, everything else that was on that plate, minus the peanuts. And I'm just going to let that all get good and browned and tender there. And now here's the secret ingredient coming right up. I'm going to take 2 eggs, nice brown eggs, and I kind of scramble them there in a bowl, and I'm just going to put them in there, and I'm going to fry that up, and that's where you get like the fried rice thing. So this is sort of like if you went to a Japanese or a Chinese restaurant, I guess, and you got some fried rice, they'd have the egg scrambled up into it like that. So with all this talk of rice, that is the one ingredient that is missing at this point. There it is, all ready to go. I just need to add the rice to this, and after I add the rice to it, I'm going to start my fish here in the air fryer, and about 10 minutes later, that's going to be good to go. Get my rice in there, start plating it. See, you can see the rice is mixed in with it. Get that nice and good to go. 10 minutes later, the pompano's coming out. I'm putting it on the plate, and this was an excellent meal. The only thing I need to do is I'm going to add the peanuts to the top of it and a little bit of lime, and this is going to be delicious. So get out there, try some live bait. Get yourself some live shrimp. Get yourself some live minnows. The fish are biting. Let's get out there. He turned out to be an Atlantic sharpnose, and you can tell that because they have spots on them. They have white spots on them, and you can keep an Atlantic sharpnose. He's also a male because he has claspers down there on the bottom, and he's also very frisky. He's not enjoying this at all. I decided to keep him, and I will tell you what I did as I cut underneath the neck where his gills are, and I bled him out. And it's not too graphic here, but it is a little bit graphic. So if tourists are around, sometimes I don't like to do it, and I won't keep them. I will only keep one a year, because they are high in mercury. So once I catch one, I pretty much pack it up and go right there because I want to get home and process them right away. I bleed them out because sharks pee through their skin, and if you don't bleed them out, that blood will be in there, and it'll give you that bad flavor. So while I was outside, I processed the fish, I took off his head, and I cut all the fins away. And that makes it a lot easier for processing when you just want to get down to filleting it. A sharp knife, you saw me sharpening it up right there, that helps. The skin is like sandpaper. It's so tough, and it will dull out your knife right away, so you're constantly having to sharpen it. But I'll fillet it like any other fish. You can see I'm just going down the whole fish here and holding it up against the bone, and then getting that one piece of meat right off right there. And I'll flip that other one over and get that piece off as well. Again, holding the fillet knife down against the bone, pressing down against the bone, and just going down the whole length of the fish till you get to the end and just pulling it clean through. And then what you're going to have is 2 fillets with the skin still on, and just that middle piece of bone that you can throw in your crab trap or something like that. So I'm just going to get rid of that. There's really not any meat, just a little cartilage bone there. Get rid of that, and we have our pieces. Then I'll start at the tail, and I'll just hold down the skin, and I'll press the knife up against the skin, like down and against the skin, so I can get the skin off. And again, the same thing, pulling the knife all the way down, and again, having that knife sharpened helps a lot. You can see it's still giving me a hard time here getting through, even though I just sharpened it. The next thing I'll do is take that piece of skin, get rid of that, and I'll clean up the fish. I'll clean off the belly fat because the belly fat can be high in mercury, and any of these blood, you see the blood in there, I just cut that off because that is going to give that bad flavor. So we're going to cut out those blood lines. So I just have the nice white meat. Then pretty much I'll just stake it out like I'm going to do right here. I'll just chunk off pieces. And of course I've got a lot of shark meat, and I don't want to eat, I probably eat it once a week. So I'm going to bag it up I'm going to freeze the chunks that I don't use, the little steaks, and I can throw this on the grill, but I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make some little fish bites, little shark bites. It's probably one of my favorite things. So I'll clean off the meat one more time, and just, like I said, I'll put it in Ziploc bags and just wrap those up nice and tight, throw those in the freezer, and they'll keep, and I can just keep taking them out whenever I want and having them, because Kim won't eat the shark. She doesn't like it. I think I have not prepared it in the past properly, and so she's all turned off to it. But I actually really like it. So I will cut up my shark bites into little like chicken nugget size pieces, little chunks right here. And I'm just going to cut them up like that so I have it all chunked up. And then I'm going to start with my seasoning. I've got there some salt, some black pepper, I've got the magic, and I've got some basically just flour. That's all I'm doing. So I'm going to drop it in the flour and then get it covered on one side. Take my pepper right there, season it with the pepper, season it with the salt, and then of course I'm going to season it with some of the redfish magic. So we're going to put that on there too. Then I'm just going to roll it around in the flour again. It's just a light dusting of flour. I'm not trying to make a heavy breading or anything like that. And I just get that going. And now we're going to go to the frying pan, and it's going to be as simple as that. We're going to turn on the heat, grab some olive oil. You can use butter if you like, but I just throw some olive oil in there. Keep it real clean, keep it real Mediterranean, like. And then once it's hot and ready to go, just drop those little shark bites in there and get them frying up. And it's really that simple, and they're going to be great. And you can use like a little whatever type of sauce you want. I did like a little lime crema on the side, but like any type of little dipping sauce, you can dip them in, and they're way better than chicken nuggets. Forget about McDonald's. Mixed shark nuggets, I guess, is what we're doing right here. So there you go. If you want to try it, Atlantic sharp nose, pretty good. And check your rigs, make sure, and that's it. Let's go fishing. Fish. Here's the other. This is a great menu. Let me tell you, this is from the New York Times. I'm taking the fish, just putting a little salt and pepper on it and some olive oil, and I'm going to stick that into the air fryer, and I'm going to let that cook. That, by the way, is sea salt all the way from Turks and Caicos. How exotic. It's true, though. So then I'm going to take a pan, and I'm just going to throw some almond slices in there with some olive oil, and I'm just going to let that kind of brown. I want to brown those, make them nice. Oh, they're already crispy, right? I'm just going to brown them in the olive oil and just kind of stir them up there. Let's see if they're any good. They taste pretty good. And once they get brown, I'm going to take them out of the pan and just put them on the side. Now I'm going to take that same pan, stick it back on the fire. Got a couple almonds still in there. That's okay. And I'm going to pour in a cup of wine right here. This is just white wine. Pan's hot. Get it booking right away. Get it all going and stuff like that. And my little almonds are jumping around in there. I'm going to add some butter to that, and I'm going to let that butter melt, kind of brown a little bit. Push that around a little bit. This is a pretty easy recipe, and I'm telling you, this is a killer recipe. So pay attention. There's not too much left going on here. Get that butter, like I said, browning in there, just stirring it around. And I'm going to add some garlic. Here's some garlic. It's already minced up. And so we're just going to get that in there, stir that around in there. And like I said, this is such an easy recipe, right? This is just like butter, white wine, garlic. I got the almonds on the side, right? Well, let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go grab those almonds because I think they're ready to come back into the pan with some olives this time. So they're browned almonds back with the olives, and that gets all pushed around in there. And this is going to be our sauce that's going to go on top of our fish. Now, I also made some risotto. You could use rice if you want. It doesn't really matter. But I made some fancy risotto with like some peppers in it. But that didn't take that long either. Just boiled some risotto. And I add one more secret ingredient to some lemon juice. Yep, I'm throwing in some lemon juice there. And then I'm going to stir that off. Now, we're going to start plating. The fish is coming out of the air fryer. It's been in there, I don't know, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I'm just going to put some of the risotto on the plate right there. So it's a little fancy, like I said, with the peppers in it. But you could just use rice. Work just as well. I'm going to grab the fish out of the air fryer. Nice and seasoned, just simple salt and pepper, little olive oil, right? Just ready to go. And now I'm just going to take the our mixture, almond, white wine, olive, and butter, and lemon juice. And I'm just going to pour that right on top. And I'm telling you, this is restaurant quality gourmet meal right there. So simple to make and so absolutely delicious. Got to get something as good in the restaurant? I'm not sure. Oh, I forgot one more secret ingredient. Mint. I'm throwing some mint on top. I know that sounds weird, but it really brought the whole meal together. And we actually... Okay. total topic change. I was reading on the internet about how we don't actually, you're going to get grossed out at this, we don't actually eat the fish. We only eat the fillets of the fish. And in the article it said you can eat all these different things like the fish's eyeballs and its cheeks, and you can eat, its guts or whatever. I was like, but it said you could eat its fins, and if you fry them, it would taste like potato chips. So I thought to myself, I got this red drum, I'm going to make some fried fin potato chips. So I got some tempura batter. That's just what I happen to have in the house. I got some oil and I put it in the pan and fried them up and got them going. And they actually kind of smelled really good. Tempura batter did anyway. So I just figured I'd take these out, put them on the plate. And I'm going to season them, and I'm going to try them and see if there's any good. Like, maybe I shouldn't be wasting these fins. So first I was like, I'll just sprinkle a little salt on them, kind of make them taste like potato chips. But then I was like, no, you know what? I should probably take this up just another notch because I'm eating fins here. So let's see. So I got up the Red Magic, and I'm like, let me sprinkle some of that on it. Now, these were the little fins in the front. So when I took a bite of it, not that bad. It was edible. It tasted mostly like tempura batter and a little chewy when you got to the end there, a little bit hard, a little crunchy. And I'm like, you know what? I think I'll try the tails because I've also heard you can eat fish tails. So I was like, if these fins are okay, maybe these tails will be even better. So I did the same process. I battered them up. I dropped them into some hot oil and I got them frying, and they fried up even better this time. Look at that thing's frying up nice, right? You're like, that's probably going to taste so good. Well, don't get your hopes up, people. I think the big fish tails is not the way to go. In fact, I think if I'm ever going to do this again, I might do like a little 6-inch croaker tail instead, because this was a little bit too much. So. One of the best meals. Here's the crabs in the pot. I'm just going to show you a couple things I did, and then I'm going to let my wife take over and got them in the pot, boiled them up. I got some great crab boil from the little place down in Southport. I got like a 12-pound bag, so I'm not afraid to use some crab boil in there. And I skinned the black drum, took out the bones, so we were all ready to go. This, I'm telling you, was one of the best. This was restaurant quality when this meal came out. Now, it did take forever. It made quite a mess, but we'll do a little walkthrough step by step. So here's Chef Kim. So Chef Kim, what are you preparing for us tonight?
I'm going to do a black drum almondine with a crab meat topping and the crabs that we harvested right from our canal, Davis Canal here in Oak Island. Black drums are one of my favorite fish, so I'm really excited about this dish.
So what do you got going on here?
Basically, I've kind of separated the ingredients. We've got some salt and pepper. This is actually an awesome seasoning. It's called the Magic Blackened Redfish Mix, and it's a great Cajun seasoning. And then we've got some half and half, a little bit of flour, well, maybe a lot of flour, 2 sticks of unsalted butter.
Seems like a lot of butter.
And I always use butter. Like, I don't use margarine. I think it's really important to use actual real butter and high quality grade. So this is some Irish butter here. Okay. And some lemons. Of course, you need your almondines.
Okay. And what is that?
This is the most important part of the meal.
Okay.
Chardonnay.
So what are you going to do? You're going to show us how to open this up.
So basically, I call this the tail. I don't know what the technical term is for it, but I call it the tail. So I remove that, and then I remove the back of it right here.
Look at that. That came right off.
And so I'm going to take that. That's going to go in the garbage. And then you have all the junky junk.
Oh gosh, junky junk. I think it's lungs. But
yeah, nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that.
And you just basically split it in half. You see how I just did that? And then you're going to take, there you go. See that piece right there? That's awesome. That's what we want. That's what we want.
Where's that going to go?
It's going to go right here in the little crab bucket area.
That's the good stuff. That's what we're looking for.
That's what
so this looks like it could be kind of time consuming.
It's definitely time consuming, but let me tell you what, it is totally worth it.
How's the decrabbing going?
It's good. It takes a while, but I feel like I need to use all of the crab because we killed it. And it's 2 tablespoons. So really, I know what 2 tablespoons looks like because I've been cooking a really long time. So that's about 2 tablespoons.
Is it?
Hey!
All right, I trust you.
All right. Once it's coated, you're feeling comfortable with it.
I'm feeling comfortable with it.
We're going to go ahead and dredge this.
Right in there.
Yep.
Alright, that looks good. Is that both of them? Oh, there's another one on the other plate. Okay. This is going into that. That's the butter.
That's the butter, the unsalted butter.
And the butter's going, and that's 2 minutes on each side. Alright, so let that cook a little bit. So that looks really good right there. So what's going on now?
Alright, so the fish is done. It was 3 to 5 minutes on each side. I like to go a little bit, like, probably more like the 3 than the 5. But if you have the right temperature. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and put it on top of the risotto.
Okay, well that looks good right there. Are we done?
No, honey. We're not done. Now we need the topping.
I feel like we're done.
Uh-oh, that one. Put the rest of the butter.
That's a lot of butter.
I know it is. Honey, I'm not saying that this is like a fat-free dish by any means.
Yeah, I'm going to die.
So, I'm just telling you, this is the way it goes, okay?
Hot.
So we need to brown the butter, and it's browning.
It sure is browning.
I'm going to lower the heat just a touch.
Yeah, maybe because of browning.
But it looks so good. It smells delicious. Alright, so now I'm going to add the almonds. And we're going to brown these.
Browning the almonds.
3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes.
Yep.
We need dinner.
There's some now, well, they're getting there. They're getting there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to squeeze a half a lemon in here.
Pretty wacky.
And now I'm going to take our garlic.
Time chopping that garlic.
I chopped the garlic. I sure did.
That's going in there too. So we've got the butter, which was some Irish butter.
Some Irish butter.
There was the almonds that we found. The lemon.
Lemon.
Is still getting squeezed. It's crazy.
And we got, I don't like to waste anything.
No, it's all going in there. And then we got the garlic.
So, okay, we're going to plate that. We're going to put that over this, but I'm not going to do it right now because I need to just saute the crab meat real quick with the parsley, and then we'll be done. We're going to eat.
You're killing me. What do you mean?
I know, babe. I'm sorry.
I thought we did that already.
No, sweetie, we haven't.
So we're back here at the frying pan. Oh my God, I'm starving. That's the crab meat. You're not even telling us what's going on at this point.
Okay, it's parsley and the fresh crab meat.
Yeah, and the heat's back on.
The only thing I'm happy about is that Ian's doing the dishes tomorrow.
Yeah, I bet. We'll have to show you the sink in a minute.
All right, so I took the sauce out, and then there was a little bit of leftover garlic and leftover butter, and so I'm sauteing the crab meat in this. I'm going to top the fish with the crab meat, and then we're going to do the sauce on top of it, and it's going to be absolutely freaking delicious.
Now, I feel like we made fish tacos. We've been doing this for like 3 hours now. This has been a 5-hour video. I've never made a video this long.
I know, but it's worth it.
Fish tacos I could have made in like 2 minutes.
It's worth it, honey.
Well, I don't know. We haven't tried it yet.
Trust me. Top this puppy.
We're ready to do it. Okay, so this is the original almondine sauce here. And that's going to go on there. All right, and now what? Well,
here we go. Oh my God, I love this fish.
So what the hell is this?
That's your job.
What? There's like...
That's your job.
There were no dishes in the sink when we started.
Yeah, but you want me to cook, and this is how I cook.